Gentlemen, this is a question we get all of the time, and it's a great question. So I want to bring it back to the forefront. And it's what niche, what strategy, what angle, what way of investing in real estate is best for a beginner? Start with you, Devin. You're watching a segment from a Freedom Mentor live stream. Join us for our next live event. Go to freedommentor.com/live.
I always say what's best for a beginner is you focus on getting in and out of deals quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get involved in large rehab projects. You don't have the skill set, you don't have the team, you don't have the money to carry a property that long. So your first thing that you want to focus on is getting in and out of deals quickly, even if you're making less, because it's important for you to create cash flow and create cash rather than try to predict. The longer a project goes out, right, that market cycle is changing every 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, right? So what you think the ARV value is today may be a lot for when you're further down the road, might have changed drastically. And that's why I see a lot of people get into trouble, because they're getting into deals, one, that take way too long to complete, and two, they don't have the experience to do a deal of that size. So my recommendation for somebody getting into real estate is you want to get in and out of deals, get acclimated with more and more deals, create profits, roll the profits into more marketing, and keep rinsing and repeating early on.
Absolutely. So, Brian, how does someone do that, though? I mean, let's put some meat on those bones. How does someone get in and out of a deal as opposed to avoiding a rehab?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's as we said, knowing your market, knowing what you're looking for. When it comes to a niche, one of the things you got to keep in mind, there may be niches, things you enjoy or want to do. The market, doesn't care about your niche. It doesn't care about your income. The market has needs, and the people we work with are motivated sellers who have a problem. I think that's always the common denominator we're looking for. So, you may have certain preferences, but I've told students before that unfortunately we will never have the problem of, well, what do I do with all these motivated sellers? No, that's not how it works. If you have that problem, it's because you don't know what a motivated seller is, right?
Yeah.
But we, as you taught us, we know how to build a better magnet and suck those needles out of the haystack. And so we adjust who we're working with first and foremost, whatever niche that may be. And again, that goes back to, do you have the right training, the right mentors to guide you through? Maybe you're running into a niche you really don't know. Again, back to competence and confidence, you better have the right mentors, right? But when you go in, we make offers that make sense, right? We know how to get in and assess. One of the things we talk about a lot on my calls, making offers in good faith, and what's the process for doing that, where I don't have to get out my crystal ball and memorize, understand everything that's going to happen. I need to understand the big picture. I need to understand first and foremost, there's motivation. Can I get into this deal, solve the seller's problem, position myself to be profitable as well? That's the win-win we're looking for. And what Devin mentioned, we're not looking to only rely on a huge rehab to add value. And again, that's what a lot of people do. They don't know how else to add value because they may not be working with a motivated seller. And so when we buy right, we have the option to get in and out, to take the quick nickel instead of being married to the slow dime where we don't make any money. So buying right is critical. Obviously, finding the right deals, negotiating the right deals, whatever niche that may be. Once you have a lot more coming your way, then you can kind of pick your niche. But I think, again, that's the key, is let's make sure we're finding the right deals, negotiating the right offers.
We have been coaching and mentoring real estate investors for 20 years. In fact, some of America's most successful investors got their start with us. Here's what our apprentices have to say about working with us.
Freedom Mentor was probably one of the biggest blessings I've had in my life.
For us, it's been life-changing, hands down. Couldn't even think about not doing this, right? And what a missed opportunity if I had not done it.
And you can be next. Learn more about our program in the top right corner.
But Phil, to add to that, people think of, oh, I just want to do sub twos, right? Like they're niches. Like when you are taught the skill set that we have, your skill set then becomes a tool belt to provide a seller. Maybe it is a sub two. Maybe it is an assignment of contract. Maybe it is a fix and flip where it's a large rehab. Maybe it is, an A to C closing or a back-to-back closing, right? Like however, the way we can skin the cat to do a deal, we will present that tool to the seller to help them out of whatever situation they're in. So you don't have to just get focused on one niche within doing a deal. You have to have the different tool belts to be able to present to a seller so that you can profit from that deal.
That is so important. Everyone who is getting started needs to understand this fundamental point. You cannot be a one-trick pony, especially if you're a beginner. So if you are incredibly experienced, you might be able to survive on just doing wholesales or just doing sub twos or just doing tax lien or tax deed investing or just doing just one niche. You might be able to get away with that. As a beginner, you need to be able to turn every opportunity into something because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to skip certain steps. You can't afford to be a one-track investor. I hear so often. I mean, literally, I get all kinds of like texts and chats and from people that say, "Hey, I'm just getting started, Phil. My understanding I should start with wholesaling." And I literally direct them to a video on why beginners should not start with wholesaling, the difficulties of wholesaling. It's difficult to find a deal at 65, 60 cents, 70 cents on the dollar, and then flip it to an investor who's going to give you some money. That does happen, but more often than not, a beginner is not going to pull that off. It's just not going to happen. So a beginner has to be a Swiss Army knife as it relates to the different options for that motivated seller. So for those of you that are thinking of starting in a niche, you literally have to start the opposite. You have to start knowing all the different angles, which obviously you're not going to do as a beginner, but that's where a mentorship comes into play. And then that way, even from the beginning, the first lead that comes through, right? If all you have in your tool belt is just a hammer, just a wholesale hammer, I got news for you. There won't be that many nails, just not that many. But if you come in with every single tool, it doesn't matter if it's a nail, if it's a screw, if it's a bolt, it doesn't matter what it is, you got a way to potentially make money with that. So beginners, that's there's been a lot of great wisdom that our team has shared. But if there's one thing, please don't forget, you can't be a one-trick pony if you're a beginner. You have to start with all of the different options at your disposal because you can't afford not to. Would you like to be coached by me and my team? Every successful real estate investor has a mentor. Discover how you can be mentored by us through our apprentice program by clicking above.